All right, beauties, I'm back. Why aren't you wearing your glasses, Danielle? Well, can I see without them? I can and can't. Like, they're readers, but you want to laugh? I don't know who the little old man is in Toy Story, or I don't know his name, but that's who my youngest daughter says I look like. Mom, you look like the little old man from Toy Story, because she's like, it makes my eyes googly eyed. And because of the way this is going, I don't have a choice. Oh, this is radical, but it's fun. Okay, I'm here. This is whoo-wee. You literally have you have no idea the fireworks that are going off in my head right now. Good, like in a good way. Meaning I am somebody who's in front of you who said, all right, higher self, bet. But like, for now, when you hear the higher self say, okay, let's go, and you not ready, like the self is not ready, but like your inner is ready, like, all right, let's go. But you already said, okay, we're going to follow what you say. And it's like, oh, but I'm not ready. What you mean? You're not ready. You should have been ready. I've been telling you to get ready. Right? All those remember Homer? I shoulda, coulda. You're still gonna have them. You're gonna have them moments. It's okay. It's all good. All right. Here we are. Yes, I took off the glasses. I don't need them anyway, because what you see what I'm looking at? Like, I don't know. Again, I don't have the latest cameras. This is my hand, okay? My poor little arm is right here on my lap. I'm on my little blanket here. I'm chill, y'all, okay? This is my everyday for the most part, except this part. I never did this part, not in front of anybody. I have tons of videos in my phone. You probably do too. Tons of like little videos in my phone, but nothing I would post. My God, no, nothing I would post. It's not good enough. It's not this, it's not that. Again, why do we do that to ourselves? If you have a video, or you have a project, or you have something that you've worked on, and you are looking at it as if it's not good enough, right? What type of energy is that? Because, okay, here's what you have to understand. Okay, bet. You don't leave the feeling with the thing. So if you're mad at your mom for whatever reason, and then you go to work, you know, you didn't leave that there. Even though you're not talking to her, even though you're like, I'll just deal with you later. And mom represents anybody, guys. It's not just mom. It's anything that has your attention all the time, right? So let's try to understand what this mechanism is, right? I'm going to tell you what I believe, right? I think that's how I ended my last video, about what I believe. Oh, and get this, bet. This is another thing. I have to tell you how things work out and da-da-da. Just so you could see real-time magic, right? Magic. That's what it comes out as. But it's like, when they say no coincidence is a coincidence and this and that. How about I was recording my last video, which has already posted, but right in the nick of time. I recorded the video. It was at 1%. I went in the house and I saw that it was 1%, and I stood right by the steps and I said, oh shoot, 1%. And then I heard myself say, you have just enough time to do exactly what you need to do before this phone dies. Which is name it, next. Like, it just ain't no edit. Okay, so that's just to show you, okay? The source is not playing with me, and is also not playing with you, okay? Not in a scary way, but like, trust that you did not come here to suffer. You did not come here to life's up and then you die. Like, those things are no. I don't believe that anymore. No. So what did I do when I got off the phone? I toasted some mini bagels the way my neighbor said that I would love. She said, put butter in the skillet and toast both sides. It was okay. She does it with waffles. That was different. I actually like that, as opposed to, like, you know, a toasted. I'm not a big waffle. I don't really like waffles like that. Do I? Man, it's gotta be. Anyway, I'm not a pancake girl. I don't really like pancakes. Ooh. You guys are really gonna be my friends. Like, if you could sit here and listen to me just ramble like this, it's nice. It's nice. But anyway, what did I do? That's all. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I make conscious decisions. Like, my every day, my every move, it's about me. It took time to get here. Why? Because when this information started to settle in, I was already working, I believe. Like, I was working. I mean, I was living life. So it's like, how do you do it? Well, I started to apply it. I mean, again, my fellow YouTubers, who I feel are more like-minded than the people I'm surrounded with or surrounded by, you start to really think for yourself. You really become independent with self, which is the whole point of all this. Is my message to you will always be, trust yourself. And how harmful could that be? Do you not trust yourself? Do you not think that you've lived enough life? Do you not think you know what right from wrong is from your perspective? Again, I repeat, good morning. I repeat, you are to make your decisions from a place of love, you know? Because you're this mechanism, like, you can experience it all. You're capable of it. You can get really angry, but you could also be really soft, right? Right? And it's like, it's a constant decision, you know, which side are you going to choose? But, you know, start with yourself first. Don't worry about anybody else. You can't. You're not going to survive. I mean, you'll survive. What's the lyric in the song? How does it go? Everybody. I know everybody dies. Everybody dies, but not everybody lives, or something like that. I forget the lyrics. But anyway, it's basically saying we're all here. We kind of look like we're all alive, right? But, like, who's really living? And if you want to live a little more, like, No one knows what your thoughts, meaning like your dreams, your desires, like all that is like yours, right? So who's supposed to make them happen for you? And some of you already have plans in place. I love that. You got little check boxes and 5-year plans and 10-year plans, but like all that's great. But I'm talking to those that kind of want to live life a little more, not on the wild side. It's not going to be wild. It'll be safe. Like, you're not going to die. Like, you're not going to die young if that's your fear. You're not going to lose everything. And you know what? Guess what? So what the fuck if you lose everything? Sorry, you're going to leave it anyway. You're going to leave it behind. You are. Hi. Hi, stranger. Take care. That's my neighbor, y'all. My across the street neighbor. Who knows my name, but I don't. He's very nice. I believe he's an educator whom I love. I love my educators. I was one too. Kinda, sorta. I was. I quit that job. I did. I didn't like that job. You know why I didn't like that job? Let me see. No. You know how they say nursing, you don't really are appreciative. Okay. You know what's happening right now? Bet. I'm about to go somewhere and I could feel it in my tummy, right? You get so sensitive to energy, you don't even want to have these conversations. But let me ask for a little permission, source. Like, I want permission because I'm okay. You know, they say nurses don't it's like the least not gratifying, but like you're underappreciated for the most part, right? Why do you feel underappreciated? We'll get to that because who cares, right? You don't need anyone to appreciate you. You okay? But I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, that's what's out there. Oh, nurses are underappreciated. Teachers? Oh my God, the teachers. Oh, you angels. These little rascals. Okay, I said, and I'm done. I promise I'm done. It's a different, it's just different. Whew. Oh, God. Oh. It'll all change. It'll all change. Oh my God. It'll all change. You know why? Because we just have to get back to basics. We have to get back to the innocence that once was and still is within us. That's all. That's all. That's not hard. That's not difficult. That's not cultish. That's not religion. That's not. It's hello. Wake up and smell the coffee. You are spirit in human form. Hell, I don't know. I woke up and smelled my own coffee. Hence why I'm here. And I can't sit here and care about anything. Why? Because I can only feel as good as I want to feel. I have decided to feel better. The more I felt better, the better my life circumstances started to kind of like, maybe not, kaboom, but I started to see the little adjustments. I started to appreciate. I appreciated my drive to work because it was a scenic route. I appreciated the landscaping that my job had, which I was fortunate enough that it did. I live in PA where, the suburban area. I love nature. Good morning. So yeah, I appreciated the deer. I'd see the little fawn, so it worked out where I was now put in environments where I could find the joy, find the little things to appreciate, to keep me at least hopeful, looking on the bright side. Why? For my sanity. What do you mean why? Don't ask why. You want to feel better. Stop it. You want to feel better. My knee, my back, my head. I have migraine. I'm this. You don't want to believe it. You will. Because you start to understand, hopefully, like I started to. I said, I gave respect to what I did not know, what was bigger than me, okay? I appreciate my A&P classes. I appreciate intro to nursing. Why? I learned the basics, normal temperature and heart rate, and blood pressure, what it meant to have high blood pressure and low. Why do these things matter? Well, you give them utmost importance. You do. It's important to you. It's self-preservation. You want to be alive. You want to be healthy. You want to live long. But you're tolerating too much, and you're doing too much, in my opinion. What's the normal heart rate? 60 to 100 beats per minute. What happens when you get upset? I'm going to name this segment, What Happens When You Don't Mind Your Business. Let's list all the ways we don't mind our business. That was mean. I'm sorry. That was mean. I'm sorry. But we're not minding our business. I didn't used to mind my business. I was not minding my business while doing the work. And I started to notice in my own life things that were happening in someone else's. Does that make sense? Stay with me. Like, I'm here on the phone in a conversation with somebody, listening to them go through their whole spiel. I shouldn't say spiel. Go through their moment of distress. They're having a moment of distress, and I'm here. I'm a good friend. I'm listening. Oh my gosh. Really? Oh my God. I might even shed a tear depending on how, like, some situations are bad. All right. Boom. You hang up the phone. Did you hang up this emotional roller coaster you just hopped on? No, you did not. Because you're a good person. You didn't. But you didn't realize that you didn't hang it up there. No. What do you do next? I don't know. I don't do it anymore. And as I'm talking about it, again, I'm very sensitive to it. I can feel the heaviness here. Like, hey, Danny, this is what they're doing wrong. What you used to do wrong, right? I'm sensitive to it. So I automatically want, it's like a hot air balloon. I just want to lift out of it. It feels very like heavy. But that's what we do. You sit there, you listen to stuff. You might even come up with a solution. You'll check on the person throughout the day. Guess what? Oh my God. They bring it up again. They talk about that shit over and over. We all do it. You talk about it over and over. It's energy, people. It's all energy. So you want to do the opposite, okay? Offer solutions. If you can't offer a solution, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Mind your business. If you can't offer a solution, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Okay? That's how that's how you're gonna deal with people. Hopefully. You can listen, you can't care about anybody. This has to be important to you, y'all. You know how your health is important, your fitness, for everybody. Everybody has their own little importance, okay? Again, I come from a place of I'm just here talking and recording for you all to see how I live my life. Yes, because the signs have been everywhere, guys. Like, I really believe I communicate with spirit, with source. It just feels so right. And it's all that I learned in school. I went to private school, I remember. It's all that. I remember being in, going to Catholic church. I was born and raised Catholic, you know. Then I hopped into like what they considered Christianity, right? I don't hesitate. Christianity is Christianity, but it's like there's like non-denominational, then you have Baptist, and you have Protestant. I've been to all those churches. I have. And then I left the church. I did. You want to laugh? You want to know why? Because it's who I am. It's my experience. I was at a church, and guess what, guys? I did not have stockings on. And I'm walking down the aisle, and this little grandmama took it upon herself and whacked my leg with her cane. Okay. That is like the most vivid memory I have of why it is. And you know, now that I understand law of attraction, that was just a manifestation of how I had been feeling up until that point. I say that's the reason why I left, but I had issues with the church up until then. I had issues with people, but then I always looked at the church as like, all right, this is where we now cleanse, right? It's a refresh. You listen to the word and it's supposed to speak to you, and you know, you're like, yes, right? And I don't know about you, but that don't last too long. Where is all that? Like, where's all that, you know, oh, I love you and all that loveliness? You left the church 10 minutes ago. You back in the car, you fussing, you know, you're back to yourself. It didn't last much long. It didn't last very long. And it's okay. Why do I say that? You're lovely. You're not bad. You just go right back to everything you was worried about before. If you're strong in the faith, you know, you counter it. I mean, but you don't realize it's sneaky. It's a sneaky little energy, guys. You know, they describe it as devil energy, negative energy. Call it what you want. I like the word essence. I like the word essence. Why do I like the word essence? I like the word essence because I feel like that should be the new universal term. Essence, you can use the word essence when you describe your feelings. Think of, no matter what culture you are, when you are cooking a dish from your nationality, your culture, think of the essence, right? You taste it to make sure it's just right. Okay, so the same way you like your food, the same way you direct your life. You do everything the way you like it. And guess what? Now you are aligned with the universe. Yes? Because you're in the flow, you're light. That's where law of attraction comes in. And now you now have a life that's more your essence, your taste. You're not fighting with anyone. Everyone understands you. That's the promise that I believe. And I have seen in my own life. I've seen the not meanest of people, but people who not act out of character, but my expectation of them changed. My heart changed. So then they changed. Even though with other people, they are who they are. When it came to me, I never saw that side. That's just how it works. Why? Because that equals a life of ease, a life where things just kind of work out. You're not like bothering anyone. It's just how you're feeling is what you're getting. And I tell my kids, I'm just like, I think I tell my kids this, I don't know, but I envision it as like going to a restaurant, right? And because you're just in your own little bubble, your food just comes out better and it tastes good. Like you're just in a different state of being that allows you to experience regular things on a different like level, right? Like your essence gets enhanced, if that makes sense. I hope this makes sense. It has to make sense. Guess what? It makes sense to me. It does. It does. It makes sense to me to be nice. It makes sense to me to forgive people. It makes sense to me to say, you know what? If this person made a decision that I say hurt me, did it really hurt me? Why does it hurt me? Why do I feel hurt by the actions of someone else? They say, hurt people hurt people. I think that's what the saying is. I don't know. But like, if you break it down, if you're attracting for yourself and here's one little thing you have to understand, right? By the time something happens, you had already built momentum, right? By the time you could see it, smell it, taste it, you already built momentum. By momentum meaning you're hungry, right? You thought about what you wanted to eat and then you went ahead and got it. Or even if you're driving down the highway, you're like, I'm hungry. Boom, you see the sign or whatever, and then you go for it. So you built momentum. In fact, you're building momentum as you're going in the restaurant. You know, you're looking around, you're like, this looks good. All right, you know, you look at the menu, you build momentum. So by the time the plate manifests in front of you, you know what I'm saying? It started a while ago. Okay, so I felt like that I needed to explain that. Yeah, but now I'm lost. I'll get back. I get back. You know, I just, you know, I love it. It's just so nice. I just realign. I breathe, because all I know is my ultimate goal in this self, my understanding, is to always feel as good as I can. And to trust that if I'm not happy in a situation, flee. Flee. What are you afraid of? It's not for you. See ya. See you later. You're not a punk. No. This isn't it. This ain't it. This ain't it. But, no. Oh, what was I talking about? I feel like I was saying something about the energy we carry and this and that. Yeah. I don't know. There's so much information in this head, y'all. But I promise you, I want to make it simple. It's got to be simple. You understand? Because you deserve it. You're worthy. You are. Why? Because you said so. That's why. Like, why not? That's the attitude you need to have. And you're gonna get it. I promise. Once you understand how loved you are. You're so loved. You're so loved. You are. I feel loved. I do. I feel loved for the simple fact that it feels good when I love. It does. It feels nice when I appreciate. You know? It feels nice to compliment. Oh, what was I saying? I think I was saying how I was appreciating and things like that. Yeah, that's all. That's all. My arm is getting tired, y'all. And that's the thing. I listen to myself, you know. If I'm tired, I stop. If I'm thirsty, I drink. If I need to use the bathroom, I go. I don't care what it is. I put myself first. I do. I do. She's all I got. She or he is all you have. You have this self, you know? And you have one job. Pick the nice in whatever environment. And all that does is align you, because your higher self always, is, like I said earlier, is pure love. Your higher self is pure love. So it never gets angry. Everything's okay. You know how Jesus said, turn the other cheek? Yeah. Higher self is just, you understand. That's why I say be nice. So you got to get this self, this, what they call the ego. You got to get this self to fall in line. Out here messing things up. That's how you got to talk to yourself, guys. You get to a point, like, tell yourself to shut up. Mind your business. Yes, I was trying to explain about the hurt. I think I did that. Yeah, like that's not cool. Why y'all here like hurt? Not realizing you can't just stop doing it. Not because you're mean, not because you're bad, but because that's just how this body works. Okay, it's just how it works. So it's nothing personal. Okay, it's energy. It's nothing personal. I love you. You understand? Yeah, you think about, like, do I not go to funerals now? Do I not? Do what you want. Do what you want. You have free will. Do what the hell you want to do. But at least you're aware of it, right? I grew up in a generation where you wore black for a year. Oh, I'm in mourning. Listen. First of all, don't take my facial expression. I mean, no disrespect. I promise you. You're in mourning. And I get it. You miss your loved one. I'm not. Oh my God. Guys, like, listen. I'm a little girl from Brooklyn. Well, not little anymore. Well, I'm only 5 feet. So a little vertically challenged. But call it what you want. I told you I was from Brooklyn. You know, in a little family. Grandma, grandpa, and my mom. That's it. They spoke no English. Yo, like, hello. I say that to say, Grandpa passed away, crossed over, when I was about 7 years old. Grandma lived a little bit. She kind of passed away when I was 27, right? And then my mom just recently. So it's not like the presence that once was there isn't felt, like their non-presence, right? It's not like I don't feel them not around, but I do feel them around. Well, because of where I am, guys. But I mean, for those who still have the question and struggle with the loss of someone, once you understand that what you owe yourself, right? You know, be sad, but for how long, right? Because if my sadness, the sadder I am, and the more I reminisce, and the more I, I'm doing this and that, I'm kind of creating a life of that, where, hey, if you're content in that environment, so be it. I've been there, where you just kind of snuggle in and it feels comfortable. It kind of feels good to just lay there and sulk, right? However, it sure does feel better if you allow yourself to experience the better. If you compared it to, it does feel better. It does feel better to feel better. And then if you associate the better with, the better I feel, the better things work out. You start to look at life more, like, oh, okay, right? Things don't seem so bad, right? You can cope better. You look at things differently. Things don't bother you as much, right? Kind of like when children were little. Those little children do not, they do not care. I'm telling you, they don't care. We make them care. We conform them. I'm not saying let them listen. I can hear it now. Let the children do what they want. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying let them do what they want. But we all are individuals. We all have our own little soul inside ourselves. And they do too. They do too. And if they don't listen to you, it's not because they're defiant. It's because, their higher self is guiding them too. See where it goes. Because you can't be everywhere all the time. So eventually, they have to fly on their own. And who's the one determining that? I know this conversation, listen, this ain't for the faint of heart. Okay? Because I could hear I can hear it. I hear it. Oh my gosh. So you're saying if my 10-year-old wants to move out? It's not what I'm saying. But you know what would be fun? If your 10-year-old said, let's see, hold on, because you guys are in my head now, right? Let's see. If your 10-year-old, because I had this situation happen, y'all. My daughter packed her things and said, I'm out of here. She was like 6. She wanted to move in with her kindergarten. But I get why. I get it. I get why. How long is this video, y'all? Oh my gosh. 40 minutes. This is insanity. 40 minutes. Anyway, let me finish my little story. She wanted to move out. I don't remember what I did then, because I don't know where I was energetically. You know, I don't know where I was. Where would I be now if my 10-year-old? I would just ask why. Why do you? Because clearly where I'm at, I'm not happy. So the same reason why you put in your 2 weeks notice. Please, effective immediately. Some of you don't even, and kudos to you. But be that way with everything. Can we do that? Can we start being that way with everything, you know? Being more selective, being more like, I said what I said, you know? I love you guys. This video is far too... I'm gonna go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I was excited to post this morning and do this. So, you know, if I feel inspired to record, you'll see me again. If not, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Okay? Any closing words? Trust yourself. That's it. That's it. That's all. What you say goes. You've lived enough life. You know. Okay? Love you. Bye.